Alright guys, the new Phantom Riders update arrived yesterday and quite a couple of things appear for all of us to see, like the secret Porsche car we will get to see once we pick the rear side within another time-limited event set to appear within this update, and also the new cars, some of which we can already unlock as it's the case of the Rares Aglaya included within this season Ultimate Pass, and also the Lotus Emeya, which is available at the premium tier of the normal Legends Pass. At last but not least, tomorrow we will have the chance to participate and register within the new Aston Martin DBS Ultimate Grand Prix, and today we have just got the Hololive Spotlight along with the first season of this update. I will try and have a look at all the new stuff, so with nothing else to add, let's get straight into it. Okay, so first of all we have the Hololive Spotlight. I will be mad honest with you all guys, I am not the target demographic of this kind of collaborations. Matter of fact, I find it quite awkward given how Asphalt Legends is, some sort of racing game, but I also understand that there are people who might like this and which Gameloft might be able to lure into purchasing some of the decals associated with this specific collaboration, despite, well, prices are some of the craziest ones I have ever seen on any game when it comes to decals. Guys, all the decals included within this event total to almost $100 just for the decals. Nothing else. If you want to see the decal you purchased, you still have to lock the car where the decal is displayed. So it's quite unprecedented, and obviously that explains why it's not oriented to those that usually play this game, but to Hololive fans instead. I just happen to know that there are people who like this kind of graphic style within this community, so those individuals might just spend a bit into these decals as well. Not all of those, which are the main attraction of this Spotlight event, since all the cars but the new Ford Mustang RTR spec are old ones that, despite are not bad whatsoever, like the Nissan GTR Ital design or the Porsche GT3 RS, through these that are not kings of the game either. Just funny cars to drive, but that's about it. Oh, and now that I am talking about the new Ford Mustang, it's crystal clear that this car shouldn't be within S-Class, but I guess it was a matter of time until Gameloft pushed this brand into every single class of this game. So yeah, now we can finally say we have a Ford Mustang for each class but the B1, which to me feels like a quite odd thing to say, but we are in 2025 and that's what we have in regards to Asphalt Legends. Another fun fact about this Spotlight is the fact that it has a Spotlight Pass, obviously oriented at those Hololive fans willing to spend their money on a pass that gives them blueprints for the cars where they will be able to use their purchased decals on. But for real, aside from the fact that I don't personally feel comfortable with this kind of collaboration, paying that much money for a bunch of decal does not make the most sense. And trust me when I say this, after spending hundreds into completing Drive Syndicate's events just to get the main Syndicate car decal. But yeah, as I said, it is what it is. The Hololive Spotlight is not that much of an event aimed at the usual Asphalt fans, but rather oriented towards luring a specific demographic into trying the game and maybe purchasing decals of their virtual heroes. It's a valid strategy, don't get me wrong, but Gameloft could have started the Rares Aglaya event along this one in order to provide everyone with some things to do, but that's my opinion though. Oh, and now that I have just mentioned the new special events, there is a brand new special event that was announced within the patch notes, and this is the EVO Special Event, which gives people the opportunity to obtain EVO parts for the new cars available to upgrade this way, which are the Ferrari SF90 Stradale, the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 and the BMW CSL Hommage. In general, the event itself is great considering the sheer amount of EVO tickets it gives for all the new EVO cars, but obviously it's an event oriented towards those who mostly had the cars maxed out, despite it gives, some sort of blueprints. In case you find yourself in the need of more blueprints for these EVO cars, there is a pack available for tokens in the shop, which contains blueprints for all these cars. So yeah, that's quite helpful. In regards to the EVO upgrades, it definitely looks like the Gameloft did not pay any kind of attention to the community, or maybe they just got the wrong impression by having a look at only at those who said to keep the EVO upgrades the way they were, because the Ferrari SF90 Stradale is just way too broken with some EVO configurations I have seen, accelerating faster than the Arash Imperium and keeping the same handling while holding a faster top speed than usual. At this point, we can basically say that the Ferrari SF90 Stradale completely broke the gauntlet as a game mode, and it's said to be worse as the time goes on, since more EVO cars will keep coming for the future updates. However, I do have to say that the EVO upgraded Chevrolet Corvette ZR1 is quite fun to drive and makes a car that otherwise would not be as interesting, somewhat interesting. That's what makes me doubtful in regards to the entire EVO system, the fact that it makes some cars which otherwise would have been ignored interesting again. Unfortunately, the downsides are too huge to be ignored because, for example, I paid for the Arash Imperium just for it to be obliterated by this new Ferrari Stradale with EVO upgrades. But you know, that's something you were exposing yourself to. This is Asphalt Legends and better cars will eventually arrive, you could say, and you will be absolutely right. Matter of fact, I don't even play Gauntlet anymore. There aren't any rewards that could catch my attention there. You know, I was just thinking about how some people who paid for the Arash Imperium in order to use it for Gauntlet might feel now. It makes you think, really. At last but not least, we have what lies ahead, the Aston Martin DBS Ultimate Grand Prix, which is set to start tomorrow and which is the main reason of why I have decided to wait a tiny bit before purchasing this season Ultimate Pass, because with all the C-Class wheel cards I have collecting dust on my inventory right now, plus all the wild cards included within this new Ultimate Pass, I will be able to gold max both the new Aston Martin and the Legends Pass car, the Lotus Emeya, which I think is fair enough. Aside from that, I will try and collect as many 4 tier Mustang blueprints as I possibly can from the Spotlight store, and hopefully I will be able to gold max it during the event, which is 27 days long, so it should be good. From this point onwards, it's your turn, guys. Which are your plans for this season? Are you planning to go for any of these decals? Make sure to let me know in the comment section. Subscribe in order to not to miss absolutely anything about Asphalt Legends, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more content. Goodbye, guys.